Hi, it's me, Dex. I'm back again with some more, perhaps enlightening viewpoint and information to share with you. What I'm going to talk about now, I've spoken about before in bits and pieces, and essentially it's just this. The fact of existence is that perception and creation or projection are not separate from each other. Perception, to a large degree, is creation. Perception, to a large degree, is that we create what we want to see. So we are creating things to be seen and experienced in the way that we, or some part of us, wants to. An early Scientology researcher, Dennis Stevens, in one of his books, he used the following phrase: case takes on the appearance that you expect it to take. So you see what you're expecting to see. You see what you are projecting for yourself to see. People do this in all walks of life all the time, certainly in politics. It's called confirmation bias. See, everything that happens confirms my attitude about politics. And the same thing for various spiritual practices, religions. People will see things that are predicted in the dogma or in the works that they read or study, or part of their indoctrination or their enlightenment. This is why, and because of my Scientology background, those are the examples that come to mind most readily. In Scientology, there's the idea of recordings of painful incidents, or in Scientology terms, engrams, being organized time sequentially, with the idea that there's a basic incident and incidents that come after that. And when you're indoctrinated in that, in Dianetics, for many people, that's what they will find. Case takes on the appearance you expect it to take. And in Scientology's so-called confidential upper levels, you're indoctrinated in the idea that there are these spiritual beings that are like a host of insects, all invading your soul and your personal space, and they're called body thetans, these degraded souls that are experiencing life through you, and all these feelings and attitudes are actually not your own but theirs, and you look for them, and you do a process in Scientology of supposedly recognizing these thoughts and feelings and attitudes as being a sovereign being, an alien being, not you. And you connect with them in such a way as to invite them to leave, a sort of an exorcism, to rid yourself of unwanted feelings or attitudes. And when you're indoctrinated in this belief, in this vision, in Scientology, well, a lot of people will then agree that that's what they're seeing. They'll create it that way, and they'll find those things. This is why in any sort of spiritual, religious, or many other types of practices and endeavors in life, we will find the phenomena that we want to find, that we're expecting to find. So if you desire, if you're interested in finding a certain thing because it will explain life to you, or explain the world to you, or make you feel like you're on a higher level or something like that, you want that to be true. You want to see that. So I think part of this process of indoctrinating people to find whatever mental or spiritual phenomena is to entice them in the idea that this will be the answer. This will make them better. This will make them better than other people. This will solve all their problems. So you're kind of enticing the person to want this to be true and want to find that. and get a certain satisfaction or even thrill in discovering that. Again, case case is the term is used in Scientology to describe everything in you, all the feelings and experiences and attitudes and memories, and through the Scientology process of resolving your case, so to speak. So that's what we're talking about. This idea: case takes on the appearance you expect it to take. What you expect, you project. What you expect, you create. So you're projecting this, you're expecting this, you're hoping it to be true, you're wanting it to be true, you're deciding that it should be true. This is part of a natural desire to accomplish, feel, or have what you feel you want, what will give you what you want. And of course, there are these systems of indoctrination and belief systems and various spiritual or mental practices that give you their overview, their description of the world and the mind and the spirit, kind of entice you about all the wonderful ascension you will have, how you will connect with great spiritual powers and abilities and so forth, find the real truth behind the curtain of life. And of course, who doesn't want that? So various practices all have their own different descriptions, and yet followers in all of these different practices will tend to find what they're supposed to find, what is expected to be found in their ways of self-discovery through whatever techniques or practices they're doing. So again, case takes on the appearance you expect it to take. Creation and perception are actually one and the same thing. You see and experience what you are expecting, what you are projecting, what you are creating, because you want to, because you've been enticed to want that, or because you just want to. You want to have this fascinating imagery come true to life and validate your search and your efforts and your investment in whatever you're doing to arrive at the state of being that you aspire to. And this manifests, as I said, in various ways in our lives all the time. Case takes on the appearance you expect it to take. What you expect, you project. What you expect, you're creating. And what you're creating, that's what you're going to perceive, and that's how you're going to experience things. There can be a million ways to do this. To take that clay that is just your feelings and attitudes and shape it and shoehorn it into some systematized, organized system of explaining the phenomena of existence, of the mind and the soul. So the way I work is to just try to deal with the energies that are our feelings and attitudes without overlaying them with some cosmology, some concept, some external explanation for everything, that it comes from things that happened long ago or from other races or other civilizations or centuries ago, or aliens, extraterrestrials, or magical beings or gods, or any of these kind of spiritual powers and things like this. And all these ideas are replete through all different systems of mental practice, spiritual practices, and religious practices. Essentially, I think if we just take our feelings as being those feelings, without this idea that if we attribute it to being explained a certain way, and then shoehorn that system of explaining things to address our thoughts and our feelings and our attitudes, instead of just simply take it as it is, that thought, that feeling, that attitude, and allow that to express and process within you, without all the cosmic dogma, explanations, all the pictures being painted to supposedly describe how things come to be. Because, frankly, all of that is unnecessary. Maybe it's fun, maybe it's interesting, but it has its drawbacks when you recreate your feelings or attitudes to fit some description, some narrative, some belief system, because then you always have to question how much of this is quote unquote real, how much of this is you're wanting to see things that way. Just allow things to be as they are. That is the purest way to digest and process your feelings and to resolve things, is to just bypass the whole fascination and need to create or accept, and in accepting, project and create some story, some narrative, someone's external explanation for everything. But this is the reason why people of all different faiths and spiritual practices can all tell you that they've seen exactly what was predicted in the dogma, in the materials that they've been studying and been indoctrinated in. It's there to be found because it's there to be interesting. It's there to entice a person, to be fascinating, and to encourage a person to want to find these things and thereby create them. So the way we function is largely on the end of creating things so as to perceive them that way, in the hopes that this will give us the answers or the peace or the state of being that we aspire to. It's not necessary to have these narratives, but we tend to have a narrative. We tend to believe that there must be some cosmic explanation for things. And maybe it's just as simple as there's only two things in life: creators and creations. And we create and we project, and then we perceive as we create and as we project. But I think at least if you have that basis of understanding, then everything gets a little bit lighter and it's all just fun and games. Thanks for listening.